It's going down. It's going down in Dallas, y'all. Head coach Jose Fernandez just unloaded on the Dallas Wings, and people are saying it is about Azzi Fudd.
The Dallas Wings just handed the #1 overall pick in the 2026 WNBA draft a bench role on opening night. They printed the jerseys, they built the marketing campaigns, they traded franchise assets and organizational credibility to land her at #1. And then they sat her down. 3 points, 1 for 2 from the field, limited minutes, and then the aftermath hit like a freight train. Reports leaked out of Dallas suggesting Azzi Fudd was visibly upset after the final buzzer. The whispers became headlines. She was reportedly in tears. The #1 overall pick in the professional basketball draft was allegedly crying in the locker room because her head coach did not hand her the starring role she expected on day 1 of her professional life. And the internet came for her throat. This is WNBA Pro. And what happened in Dallas this week is not just a story about one player having a bad debut. This is the moment the WNBA officially stopped being a safe space for college royalty and started demanding that its biggest names prove they deserve the throne. Let me tell you exactly what went wrong and why it is going to get worse before it gets better. Fudd arrived in Dallas with 2 national championships. She arrived with the most hyped relationship in the history of women's college basketball. She arrived as the consensus #1 pick. She arrived as the player the Wings trusted to build around alongside Paige Bueckers. The marketing was ready. The fan base was ready. The narrative was pre-written. All she had to do was show up and dominate. And then the reality of professional basketball showed up instead. Odyssey Sims started. Ariko Gunbowale started. 2 veterans who have been grinding in this league for years were not about to give up their spots because a 23-year-old from UConn showed up with a high draft position and a famous girlfriend. The depth chart does not care about your Instagram following. The starting lineup does not care about your college trophy case. Coach Jose Fernandez did not care about any of it. He put the players on the floor who he trusted to execute his defensive system, and he made clear to everyone in that building that Azzi Fudd had not yet earned that trust. 3 points, 1 for 2 from the field, and reports of tears in the locker room.
He had to say after the game, take a look at this.
A reason to get the grace, or is there a sense of urgency in resolving that?
No, I mean, it's real talk, and it's accountability. That's what I told him. I go, there's selfishness in this locker room. There is. And, you know, you gotta look in the mirror and be accountable on how you played. And don't get upset if you think that you should have played more, or you didn't play enough, or you didn't get the shots that you think you should have.
And then Fernandez walked to the podium and dropped the most devastating press conference of the early WNBA season. He did not protect his players. He did not use safe, diplomatic language designed to soften the blow. He accused his own locker room of selfishness. He said the word accountability on a live microphone and aimed it directly at the players who were prioritizing their personal stat lines over winning basketball games. Accountability, selfishness. When a professional head coach uses those words in a post-game press conference, he is not speaking to the media. He is sending a message to specific people in that locker room. And everyone in that building knew exactly who he was talking about. Nobody is talking about how brutal that press conference actually was for Fudd's professional reputation. Let me spell it out. When you are the #1 pick and your head coach is using the word selfishness at the podium after Game 1, the entire basketball world connects those dots immediately. Every GM in the league, every scout, every future free agent considering Dallas, every sponsor with an Azzi Fudd deal. They all watched that press conference, and they all heard what was not being said directly, but was being communicated unmistakably. The crying reports are unverified by direct quotes. WNBA Pro is not going to present speculation as confirmed fact, but the optics are devastating regardless of whether the tears were real or imagined. You are a professional athlete collecting a professional paycheck in a professional league. You knew this roster was loaded with elite perimeter options before you signed your contract. The depth chart was not ambush. The bench role on opening night should not have been a shock. Do not get me wrong, the Dallas Wings put themselves in a difficult position. They drafted Fudd #1 overall and then handed her a bench role. You cannot do both. If she is the future of your franchise, you build around her from day one. If she is not ready to start, you do not draft her first overall. The contradiction belongs to the front office as much as it belongs to Fudd. But in professional sports, the player always pays the price for organizational contradictions, and Fudd is paying it right now in the most public, humiliating way possible.
And you know, you gotta look in the mirror and be accountable on how you played. And don't get upset if you think that you should have played more, or you didn't play enough, or you didn't get the shots that you think you should have gotten. Really good teams, they don't give a shit about that. You know what they give a shit about? They give a shit about winning, because that's what matters.
Now, many people are saying this is about Azzi Fudd. Azzi Fudd played 20 minutes. She had 8 points, but Jose Fernandez was unloading. He did not stop there, guys. He did not stop there. Let's listen to it, because he went off on Maddie Siegrist, Azzi Fudd, everybody. Everybody was getting it in this press conference.
A lot going on because they got everything they wanted. Right? We went up to touch, we went over ball screens, we switched, we trapped.
Look in the mirror. Don't get upset if you think you should have played more. Those were Fernandez's exact words, and they are the coldest, most direct coaching message delivered in a WNBA press conference in years. He is telling his roster, without naming names, that if you sat on the bench and pouted about your minutes instead of locking in on the defensive end, the mirror will show you the truth. And the mirror does not lie. Stay with me, because here is where the comparison completely destroys the Fudd narrative. While Fudd was sitting on the bench in Dallas for 3 points, the number 2 overall pick was making the basketball world forget she even existed. Olivia Miles, Minnesota Lynx, WNBA debut. She started. She led her team in scoring with 21 points. She led her team in assists with 8. She played with the poise and aggression of a 5-year veteran in her very first professional game. She stepped onto the biggest stage of her career and delivered exactly what a number 1 pick is supposed to deliver. She just did it wearing the wrong number. 2 players, drafted back-to-back. One is being crushed in the headlines. The other is being celebrated as a franchise savior. That contrast is a weight that Azzi Fudd is going to carry for the entire 2026 season. Every time she struggles, every time the minutes are low, every time the production dips, the media is going to split the screen. Fudd on the left, Miles on the right. And the comparison is going to get louder, not quieter. Fernandez was direct about why the minutes were what they were, and it had nothing to do with the scoreboard.
Concerned, really good teams and championship teams, they don't care who starts. They don't care how many minutes they play. They don't care if the ball's not going in for them. They can do different things on the defensive end. When we start doing that, and we don't get in our feelings, because body language never whispers. Championship teams, you play for the guy next to you. And it doesn't matter if the ball's not going in. You can do so many other things. You can defend, you can share it.
The problem wasn't scoring. The problem was on the defensive end. This is the wall every college star eventually runs into when they arrive in the professional game. The fans want to know why the number 1 pick is not scoring. The coach is watching something completely different. He is watching whether she can navigate a high ball screen without getting destroyed. He is watching her closeout speed. He is watching whether she finds the backside rotation when her teammate drives the lane. He is watching things the box score will never show. And if those things are wrong, it does not matter how many followers you have or how many trophies you won. You are sitting down. That is the lesson of opening night. That is the lesson that every elite college player must learn or fail trying. And then the darkness that has followed Azzi Fudd her entire career came back. She was ruled out for Game 2 with a right knee issue. The right knee. Let that land for a moment. The exact same right knee that tore twice at UConn. The exact same right knee that cost her enormous chunks of her sophomore and junior seasons. The exact same right knee that scouts and analysts flagged repeatedly in the months leading up to the draft. Before Dallas turned in the card to select her first overall, the basketball world was actively debating whether her injury history was too toxic to risk a franchise pick on. The warnings were everywhere. The best ability in professional sports is availability. 2 games into her professional career, and the knee is already an issue. She played 1 game, won. She played limited minutes in that 1 game. And the right knee is already a problem. There is no diagnosis. There is no return timeline. And Paige Bueckers and the Wings went out and played and won a game without her. If the knee becomes a recurring obstacle, if it forces load management or extended absences, the crying reports from opening night will immediately look like the least of the Dallas Wings' concerns. They will be staring at a long-term investment in a franchise player who cannot survive the condensed, brutal schedule of a WNBA season. Fernandez ended his press conference with the most chilling sentence of the entire night.
It wasn't the issue wasn't getting more. We don't have a problem scoring, right? We scored 86, 88, whatever it was. That wasn't the problem. The problem was on the defensive end. Did she have a great first half? Yes, that's why she started in the second half. But we felt that we needed to go in a different direction defensively.
Gotcha. So
yeah.
Also, when you took out Azzi,
right?
You just said defense. You wanted defense.
I thought she had a good game. She played, 19, 20 minutes?
The film is going to convict. Not suggest, not indicate. Convict. Game film does not have an agenda. It does not protect feelings. It does not care about draft position or championship rings or verified accounts on social media. It shows exactly what happened. Did you sprint back in transition? Did you box out when it mattered? Did you make the rotation when your teammate needed you? If the answer on the tape is no, then you have 0 right to cry about your minutes. 0. The film already knew the truth before you walked into the locker room. Azzi Fudd's opening week in the WNBA was brutal in every direction. She came off the bench, she scored 3 points. Her head coach called out selfishness at the podium. She missed Game 2 with the exact same knee that has betrayed her since 2022. And the player drafted directly after her put up one of the best WNBA debuts in recent memory. WNBA Pro is going to keep tracking this story with complete honesty. None of this is a death sentence for her career. She is 23 years old. She has generational shooting ability. She has Bueckers beside her. She has a coaching staff willing to hold her accountable and force her to grow. The UConn Foundation has produced champions. The potential is absolutely real. But the present is a crisis, and the internet is going to keep coming for her until she walks onto that floor and plays like the #1 pick she was drafted to be. That is the contract you sign when you accept the top spot. The expectations are the price of the honor. And right now, Azzi Fudd has not paid it. This is WNBA Pro. Smash subscribe if you want the channel that delivers the unfiltered truth about the real business of professional women's basketball. Drop your take in the comments. Was the internet too harsh on a rookie struggling through her debut, or is this a legitimate warning sign for the entire Dallas Wings franchise? I want every opinion. Hit the notification bell because the Azzi Fudd story is evolving fast and we are not missing a single development.